Well, and it reminds me of the scripture that says that you rejoice with those that are rejoicing and you mourn with those that are mourning.
Yeah.
And that is like, that's just the thing that you do in order to allow closure. And, what we see at the control board is, Joy refuses to acknowledge the crisis.
Yeah.
And so Riley's refusing to, she's downstream of these events.
Yeah.
And what happens with this unresolved crisis that's left like unmanaged and without the catharsis is the control board ossifies.
Yeah.
And which is what will happen to someone's maturity level.
Yeah.
Which you see, I think, and this is me with my like layman psychology, is like as people develop through their various like stages of maturity, if there's something that goes unresolved due to a crisis or something that's not nurtured or something that's not developed or an emotional skill or quality, that person's maturity will kind of emotional maturity can stop there.
Yeah, well, and you like when something solidifies, it's called like an addiction or like a bad habit or a core belief. I am just this way. You like your psychology will learn to adjust around it, and that piece just stays ossified and solid there, right? So like I am just not someone who deals with conflict, right? Well, you could be, you like, but people have this belief that kind of cements itself in, and then they spend their whole lives just working around how they manage conflict, and that that can lead to adaptability and coping mechanisms, but it also leads to a lot of problems because sometimes you just need to be able to manage that.
Right. So like we could imagine Riley with the plan that gets put in there, like that light bulb, I'm going to run away.
Yeah.
And then the board ossifies around it.
Yeah.
That could, flash forward 30 years.
Yeah.
She's in her third marriage. It's like, I run away. When things get hard, I run away. I never should have done this in the first place. The way out is escape instead of endurance. Right. And so that belief would just freeze her board at that level of maturity. I mean, the level, the depth of the symbolism that they created.
Well, so what happens is the only way that idea can get unlodged there, once that idea, that belief takes root, sadness is the only thing that can get that out. She's the one who's got to do that because she's got like, in order to dislodge that idea, you have to embrace the grief and the pain and the loss. Like you have to go into that. But if you run from that, which is what Joy has her doing the whole time, that thing just stays stuck in there. And like you said, that lasts for decades. She's running away from every relationship and every painful thing and all for fear of like letting what Joy's done the whole movie, like letting sadness. I don't want to let that wave of sadness come. Also, the longer that goes on, the bigger that wave of sadness is going to happen. And I see people where it's like, man, you got years and decades of skeletons in the closet and secrets and running away from this stuff. Like it gets harder and harder to unpack that. And there's circumstances where you see people later in their life, it's like, man, can they even unpack that? Can they even go and open that up again? Has it gotten too far away from that? It's so like that. Is one of the most powerful symbols in the movie of like that idea, that light, that light bulb that locks in. And like when an idea comes in, again, light bulb idea, like that is the proper symbol for that. When an idea grabs root and takes hold, whether that's a negative belief about yourself or an ideology or whatever that is, like it just takes over and you lose all ability to manage that. If you're not, I think one of the big strengths of like the Stoic philosophers is they did such a good job of like externalize, like your ideas, your thoughts are not you. Like you can externalize that, you can play with all those things. But if you can't differentiate from that and those things lock in, all the damage we just unpacked is there.
Yeah. And ultimately it's being unwilling to feel bad and but what if I feel bad? And it's like, well, that's a feeling. And like, you're gonna have to do it. And whatever conflict you ignore now only grows until eventually you do have to contend with that conflict.
And pain and suffering is part of life. That's why what I appreciate about this at the time is like that grief is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's actually really important.
Yeah, it turns out sadness is kind of the hero in this.
Absolutely. And because all the empathy, all the healing, all the connection comes out of that. And I think that we get a lot of messages now that just say like, do continue to run from the pain, from the sadness. If you encounter some information that makes you question what you knew about the world or about yourself or about your own conceptualization of life, and it conflicts with that and it brings up all that dissonance, like we explain it away,
Yeah.
we run from that, we
Yeah. It's
avoid that stuff.
bad. Just
Uh,
don't do it. Just lock it away and banish it and just clutch harder to these core memories
yeah.
to, and
Yeah.
then you maintain this eternal childhood. And then, the unexamined life is a life not worth living.
Yeah. I mean,
Because you're like,
reality's undefeated. It
unwilling to
always catches
examine.
up to you.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's you see, it's why when you see someone that is in this true stage of arrested development and they're not left home, can't hold down a job, it's like it's heartbreaking, because it's like there is so much more potential that's there, but they've gotten to that place because they're unwilling to let go, to face the pain of what Riley goes through in this, of the loss of her past, of I want to still do the same things I did as a kid and have the same friends, but life moves on, and you can't stay in that spot.